Okay, so great. Now we have started another one. So you can see like what is commie. So what is the command to initialize Git repository? We all know to initialize it we use git init, right? That's cool. Let's go. Setting things up. In this sessions, basically you are going to learn about like I'm going to draw it down in my OneNote, and you will know what are the things happening, who is doing this, who is doing this. There are a lot of things that is going to happen. So it said like initialize a Git repository at this location, create a directory if it does not exist. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do, mkdir create a directory. This this is basically Sarah's terminal. So this is what we're doing, and we're going to get into basically the same location. Okay, great, that's it. So and also pw, so we can see where we are. Sorry, pw it will be, yeah, we are currently in the directory. So create a directory if it does not exist. Okay, create a directory. My bad. Okay, so what we can do here, initialize. Oh, okay, initialize the Git repository. So we haven't done that. Git init. Great. Now let's see. Done. So we have created a directory. There is a directory location out there. You just don't need to think. If you're in Windows, just create a folder and initialize the repository. Which hidden folder gets created after initializing a Git repository? Which hidden folder gets created after initializing repository? .git, right? This is created, right? Okay, so how can we do that? Let's see. Like, okay, so we are within the folder ls-a. Yeah, you can see .git. But if you just write ls, there is nothing. Okay, let's test some of the concept we learned so far in our lectures. Okay, in our sessions, if you can say, once the Git repository has been initialized, which stage contains the active changes? Okay, so the active changes, what is happening, it is basically we have mentioned previously, right? So it is basically in the working area, the active changes. Right. Okay, now let's add a file to our project inside this location. So we are already within the location. File name will be this, and the content will be this. Okay, now there is an interesting part. If you're in Windows, the thing is very much easier. Just create a file name this, and just keep it down in this. The content will be this. But in your, when you're using Ubuntu, the things are quite not same. You have to write basically touch, which is to create a file, touch, then this, and there is something like echo, then this line, and these things. So these are all given out here. So we are just going to, I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to make you understand what's happening. Okay, so touch and the file name. So this is how the file is created. So now if you want to see, you can see ls. Now you can see the file name, right? Also, if you just write ls-a, you can now see all of the hidden files and also this file. Okay, that means we are good to go. We have the file. Now we can write this echo, echo, echo. Okay, echo. Then we have to give all of the text we want to give it, or all of the things we want to give it within the file. This is the file name. So within the file, what do we have? We want to give it. These are the things. Okay, great. Now done. This text is now already in the this actually file. Now we can just give it ls to see what are the files we have in this folder. We have only ls, lion and mouse text. But if you want to see what is within that, there is another command which is cat, and then give it the file name, paste. You can now see within the file we have just this text. So these are few of the Ubuntu or Linux commands you have to understand. If you are very much now familiar with it, or gradually just if you remain with the sessions, you will learn about this. Okay, echo, cat, vim editor to edit some text in Ubuntu or Linux based system. You have to actually learn about this, but no issues. I will make you understand. If you have any questions, just ping me, just write it down in the comment section. Okay, now we can check it down if there is anything. You can see verify file like this. Now which stage contains new changes that will soon be committed? Now if we check this out, you know, things that are soon to be committed are in the staging area, then they're going to be committed, right? They're in the staging area. Great. Also, now that we have added a text file, let's see if Git detected the changes we made. Although we have not done anything with Git yet, we initialize a Git repository. So like we have first in our other sessions, you saw like we first created a sample.txt, then we initialize that, then we worked. But here we firstly initialize the Git init, then we created a file, then we wrote something, right? Okay, you can see Git by executing. So we know like to check if Git has started tracking, we can see Git status, and you can see just like our sample.txt, this lion file is not basically tracked. So to track it, we just need to add it to the staging area. Okay, no issues, or you can say it add. So what commits are listed in Git repository? What commits are okay? So Git status, basically now whatever you write, Git status something, it basically there is .git file. This is basically a repository, .git repository. If you talk about ls, we have this file, but actually we have ls-a, right? So we have this kind of things, ls-a. So there is a .git repository. Within that .git repository, whenever we write git status something, is basically these kind of things, like on branch, it says something like where are we right now, how many commits we do have, this kind of thing. So here just asked like what commits are listed in Git repository. So when we press git status, it basically shows all of the stuffs. You can see it shows about the which branch we are in, how many commits we have done, are we tracking anything, or untrack, or is anything modified, or so on. So you can see we have mentioned about the file name, no commits, story blog, which commits. So story blog is not something, sorry, what commits are listed in the Git repository? What, oh sorry, my bad, what commits is basically no commits are there, right? So there is no commit. This is what they mentioned. I was confused with like which things are here, are not here. Okay, what's the status of the lion file in the repository? Now here you can see when we ask for the status, it says lion and mouse text file is untracked. So untracked. Great. Now which area of the local Git repository is the lion text file in? So as we have not added it to the staging area, as you have understood, we have not added it to the staging area, it is surely in the working area, right? It is in the working area. Great. Now stage the file lion and mouse.txt to make it available for commit. Okay, now we are going to take it to the staging area. So you know what is supposed to be supposed to write. So git add, then I'm going to give like then the file name is better, but lion and mouse.txt. okay, now let's see what is the status. Now you see like changes to be committed, so that means it has been taken to the staging area. Still that was not supposed to see, but I just made you understand what's happening. Now you see, now less time. This is the thing we ended up in previous session, is like we saw the git log, but we haven't set it with our what I would say is like username and mail, right? So right now we can use that here, so it's great. Now what we can do is to add that, we have to write basically git config user.email, then the email, git config user.name, then the name. Okay, you can also use like global one as well, no issues. Okay. User email done. Okay, so why we have done that, now you understand what's happening. So we have in our sessions, what we have done is quite different. So in my git bash, I already actually added my mail and name, right? So that is why when I created a commit, I didn't have to add it. But right now we have actually added our lion and mouse or txt file. We have actually taken it to the staging area, right? We have taken it to the staging area and we are about to commit, right? And yeah, that's it. So when you saw the git log, right, you saw name, mail, etc. So they need that, this kind of stuff. So if you just going to create a commit, it doesn't make sense. So you should add your name and mail. So that is what they are going to do. They are basically adding git. We are adding that git configuration, basically user dot email. So they know in this terminal we're basically using Sarah is using, and Sarah @example.com. This is her mail. Okay, well, this is not a problem. We're just learning that. Okay, great. We have added that. Great. Now we're going forward. So let's commit our change. Now we want to commit that. So basically we have added it to the staging area. Now we just need to write git commit and -m then message. Now you can see the same git commit -m then message. Okay, so it has been committed. Okay, you can see git commit -m and the message. Great. Okay, great. Now Sarah created a new file. So here Sarah actually created another file. So let's clear down. So another thing we have to understand before learning this, let's understand about something called git ignore. So what is this? Okay, now understand. So when you create, like assume that you want to work with a file or ID or something, you are creating ID within a folder, like if you're using PyCharm or others, what will happen is basically like in a location, if you just started maybe Python file, when you choose the location, automatically there will be others few files which will be automatically created, because to work that ID, to run that system or something, there are few files which is automatically created or built. But you surely don't want like Git to track these things, because these are unnecessary. These are just to build. These are not that much of important things. So what those are kind of the things which you basically keep in .git ignore file. Okay, this is a file just like, or we can say just like Git repository. This is a repository or file just like that. Within this file we can keep the names of the things and so on. Okay, so that this GitHub or Git or everything, they will actually not track these changes within those folders. Okay, if there is anything we changed in these nodes or others or any files with whatever you give it here, those will be untracked. Okay, now here you see Sarah created a new file named notes.txt where she plans to write down ideas about the story. So writing a story and writing ideas about a story is surely not the same, right? So that's the thing. So she just wants to share her ideas or something that's coming in her mind. So she just wants to add it into the notes.txt. So like for personal purpose. So now she doesn't want Git to track it. But if we check, now the factor is, you can ask, brother, I didn't see notes.txt to be created here. But this is a lab, right? So we will be facing a lot of situations. So this situation was created, okay? When we came from step 13 to 14, actually this lab created this one. So we have right now, you can see ls, you can see notes.txt here as well. So if we just want to see what is there in the notes.txt, although it should not be done, still let's see what's happening. Like you can see here is a timid little mouse. This is what she's thinking of, but surely she doesn't want like everything within that file to be tracked. Okay, but let's see what Git says about it. Like if Git actually came to know about it, yes, you can see untracked file. That means Sarah has created the file and it is untracked, and Git has noticed that. But you really don't want this file or anything within that to be tracked, right? So you can see untracked. Okay, now it is good that the file is untracked, but it is still under Git's radar. So every time it will just say still, but if you just add it to the staging area again, it will start asking, okay, what is happening and so on. But if you run the git add, okay, command accidentally, Git will start to track this file. Yes, you will see modification or anything that will happen, it just starts tracking. So the problem is, maybe now it is not a problem. Maybe you start with a lot of files, then 5 or 7. Then the problem is, maybe mistakenly you just added all of the files. Then this file will also be added, and all of the things within that will be tracked. So that's the problem. So we always want Git to not to track it. So there is a solution. Okay, let's configure Git to ignore this file permanently. So that is only possible when you keep this file name within .ignore .git ignore file. Okay, so this is how we previously did write like echo, then a text, we gave a text within a file, right? Now we are giving another file name here, and this is just a text. This means ignore this file. Okay, great. Okay, so now if you want to see like, okay, what are here, what do we have? ls, these two, what are the files we have? But there is git ignore files too, because the reason why we can't see is because it starts with dot. Again, same for .git. So how we can see ls-a. So here you can see .git ignore and other two. So you can also see what is inside it by pressing cat, right? Cat, and then this file name. Here you can see within the file we have just notes.txt text. Okay, no issues. So Git, this is basically created by Git. Like they've created us to save us. Like okay, if you anything is there to let me untrack. So just keep it there. The name should be name or a lot of stuff. We can keep it out there in the .git ignore. Not folder or not text or something. It's just related to the folder name or something like that. Okay. You can see, let's configure Git to ignore. Now, how can we understand if Git ignores it? Let's see. Like if we just now press Git status, now we will see, we can see .git ignore, but we can't now see that notes.txt. So as a whole, that notes.txt file got rid of the tracking, right? But .git ignore file is there. But this is a benefit. So you can ask, how is this a benefit? Okay, now if you're working with a folder, there might be a lot of people who are actually working with your folder, maybe because they can clone it down in the local system and then push and so on. So maybe someone is using id, someone using another stuff and so on. There are a lot of things that can be created. So it is better to actually add git ignore to the main file, which you can say main branch or something. So every, like this person actually knows, okay, these are the things extra. So I can actually push, I can also download this at the same time, and within the file I will keep my file's name. Also he will also keep his names. Okay, all of the files which are unnecessary, just the file name. So Git will never actually track, because when if git ignore is already there, so when they clone it, there will be the .git ignore file. There will be the .git ignore file. So .git ignore file. So they will just, within that they will be there, and they will just keep the file names. So yeah, they will know about the file names, but surely they will never know, and surely Git will also never know like what are the things within those files. Okay, just to ignore the file names. So yeah, you can be you should be serious about the file names at least. Okay, great. Now you can see what's the state of the notes.txt. You can see it is not tracked. So you can see not listed at all. It is never, not even listed, right? So it's great, right? So you know, .git ignores, basically ignores the file. Great. Now let's explore another Git repository. We have a repository used for development. So there is a location like /home/Sara and the learning app e-commerce. Within that location, there is something already created for us. Let's now clear this out, and let's move there. First of all, cd change directory, which is but change this basically means change folder from here to here. You can just use mouse from in your Windows, but in Linux you just need to use that. So here we have moved here, and how can we understand is basically a pwd. Okay, great. So we have entered into this location. That's great. Now we want to see what is the status, like what has been done here. Like, okay, so here you can see like there is like this readme.md is basically a markdown file. This file has been basically it has been staged and also modified. That's the thing, and all that means it is basically in the staging area. But also changes not stage for commit, it is this. That means one is in the working area and one is in the already in the staging area. I think you understood. One stage and one is in the, this is basically modified here also, right? Great. Okay, you are asked to commit the readme file with the commit, so you have to understand what's happening here. Okay, so here we, as we previously mentioned, this is working area, this is basically staging area, this is commit. Every time you have to pass this out. Okay, so here we came to know that readme.md is in the staging area. Now everything we have to actually commit. So you are asked to commit the readme.md file with the commit message this. So now we just, if we just write down like now it is in the, here it is basically this readme md. If we just write down like git commit -m, then the message, it will be committed here, no issue. So we can do it. Okay, and then we will then add this like our JS file, this, then we will add it, and then again we will commit it. So we can, in this process we will have two commits. But if you want just to create one commit, what will you do? You will actually add it to the staging area, both will be done in the staging, then you can create the commit. So what is the difference basically in developer world? So maybe readme.md is different kind of file, right? Documentation, and JS file is kind of different. So you just keep different things differently, right? Maybe not the file, it totally depends on the purpose. Okay, maybe your task is to work with both, maybe then you can create the commit, just one commit. So it totally depends. So as we know this file in the staging area, now we can easily actually take it to the commit. So first of all, we will give this git commit -m add instruction for verification. It is basically for the readme. In the readme, which is basically markdown file, here instructions are given in the readme files. Okay, now we are just going to write it down like git commit -m, which is okay. Now great, now if we just check it out, like what is the git status, now you can see there is no readme, it's only the modified. That means the staging file has now moved from here, like from move sorry, this is basically moved from here to readme.md. Great. Okay, done. So now if we ask for the status, we can see there is something on this working area. It is basically here, and also it is not always the things that are working is in the red color. It is basically for things that if there is any changes and it is not being taken to the staging area, it is in the red. Okay, so here it is in the outside, it is in the working area. Now what we can do is then add and commit the file. So in this, using this command, we can basically do this kind of stuff, right? Okay, here's one thing we need to understand. Okay, great. Okay, so git commit, or you can just paste it down. Great. Now if we check the git status, okay, so here you can see there is nothing basically. Okay, everything is there in the has been committed. Okay, now if we just clear it down, okay, great. Again, git status, here you can see everything is like there is nothing there. But still, if you check the ls, like what are the files we have, you know, we have readme.md files and a lot of files even within the JS folder. Basically this means blue color is folder, the folder we had a file, so that also has been moved, and every other things are here. So let's see also, like we don't have any task, but let's see what are the commits by now we have created, or the person has created before us. You can see there are lots of commits created, update, readme, and so on. But the last two, which we created are here in the beginning. You can see add instruction for verification and increase time from 400 to 500. So that's one thing. That is what we can create. Okay, and to get out of it, you can just write wq. Okay, these are the things you need to understand when you're working in Vim editor. These are basically in the Vim editor. The editor is basically within the terminal. Okay, now you can see the check, like verify the committed. Okay, done. So 20, what files are configured to be ignored by this repository? What files are here? Also within the folder we have just found out these, but we haven't found out anything like dot files because we haven't actually write the ls-a. ls-a basically selects all or everything. Okay, so here you can see dot git ignore file is there. So I'm just going to enter there and I want to see what is happening. So I will be writing dot git ignore cat dot ignore. Okay, so here you can see dot ds store and dot idea. Okay, these are the files and folders we have to like git ignore will always ignore. Okay, the tracks or anything that happens within this. What files are configured to be git ignore? So here you can see dot idea. Okay, basically dot idea is a directory, or you can say folder, because after that we have it slash, that means it's a folder. So dot idea might have a lot of stuffs here. Okay, so that are the thing. Okay, great. So that's the end of our session, right?